Oh yes, we're being joined now by Dr. Umar Ardo, who is a member of the People's Democratic Party and also the Executive Secretary, Alternative Policy Perspectives and Strategy. You're welcome to Sunrise Daily.
Thank you.
Well, what are the issues which you think, I mean, we're saying right now that campaigns are intensifying. Just yesterday, the two front runners for the presidential race were in each other's states. We saw President Buhari in Adamawa State and also in Taraba. We also saw Vice President Atiku in Katsina State. What are the issues which you think will define the elections for those who would like to participate in this polls?
Thank you. From what you have seen, the turnout of crowd that both Atiku and Buhari were able to muster, it tells you that both of them are popular candidates. They are popular not only across the country, but from the other sides, states. That is to say, Atiku is popular in Katsina, Buhari is popular in Adamawa. So the election as it is now, the turnover, what will define this election will be the who gets the thinking of the, what will define this election actually is the Buhari, Atiku, I'm sorry.
My apologies. I mean, let me help you here. Let's look at this. You've talked about each of them pulling a crowd.
Yeah.
First of all, can we really assess strength by the crowds that we see at campaign rallies?
Yeah.
I mean, because we've heard stories of how, yes, their supporters, but you might find out that it's the same crowd that appeared for Buhari that would appear for Atiku as well. Can we really assess, can we say that it is the same enthusiasm that they're showing, or there's something else that they're profiting from the rallies?
I've been in this for a very long time.
Yes.
It is not really actually the same crowd. Maybe in terms of percentage, you will say about 20% of the crowd will be in this team and then will be in the other team. But 80% of the crowd is actually the crowd of the candidates. So it is not moving from here and then to here. So at the end of the day, the real issue that will define this this voting is what do you gain, what do you get, what do our people expect? Now, for Buhari, he is telling the country that he is fighting corruption, he is going to build the economy, he is fighting, he's going to ensure security and so on and so forth. But over the years, over the 3.5 years that he has been there, is to me, as a PDP member, is only rhetoric. He hasn't been able to fight corruption because corruption is still pervasive. We have seen how members of his regime that who got into the regime without money and they are now fabulously wealthy. So that defines. That does not, give you the...
I can bet that if members of the APC were here,
and the security,
they would challenge you to that.
The security situation, has proliferated and become pervasive. So before he came, it was hedged only in the northeast zone, but now it is virtually all over northern Nigeria. The northwest that was relatively, secure, it is now very unsecure. The north central that was relatively secure, it is now also very unsecure.
Well, they might argue, I mean, let me take you up quickly on security. They might argue that north central in recent days has been quite quiet and we haven't heard much. Isn't that because of their efforts?
You see, these things, they come and go. But at the time, Boko Haram was subdued. But all of a sudden, Boko Haram came up again. In the past few months, Boko Haram was on the rampage. So what happened? Is it that they fell? And in the northeast, I mean in the north central, especially in the Benue, the thing is now quiet. But these things is not, to me, is not as a result of what they have done. It is as a result of probably the politics, probably politics. Because to me, these things is more political than even security.
Boko Haram crisis is also political. Is that how you see it?
Boko Haram, of course, Boko Haram is political. Boko Haram came up, it's the beginning of Boko Haram is political. It is the regime of a state that came up with certain policies, and these policies metamorphosed into the Boko Haram crisis. So the genesis of the Boko Haram is actually political.
I'm a little pleased that you acknowledge that at some point the Boko Haram crisis seemed to be under control, and then all of a sudden it seems to have resurfaced. How would you say that any government can ensure that? Because we've been told that Boko Haram is an insurgency. It's something that will not go away immediately. It's something that we'll continue to see. At what level would we say that a government has successfully conquered Boko Haram, considering the fact that this is a terrorist organization? They will continue to make efforts to recruit members and also continue to, make attacks on Nigerians.
We will continue to get experience insurgency so long as we have poverty, because there is a correlation between democracy, poverty, and insurgency. Democracy under the liberal constitution gives people freedom, liberty to do as they please within, of course, the ambit of the law. Poverty makes people to rebel. If you expect politicians came up, giving promises that they will do this, so they build high expectation within the populace. Now, when there is high expectation and low result, men tend to rebel. So this is what we are facing. Unless and until we conquer poverty, we will forever continue to have insurgency, because there is a correlation between poverty and insurgency.
Now, in this election, a lot of people have said, it's a referendum on President Buhari's 4 years, and people are going to be waiting to see if he will be returned. But then the party in power has also argued that the PDP has been in power before. When you talk about conquering poverty, they might say that the poverty started under the PDP. What do you think your party is going to be doing differently if it is elected into office?
The poverty didn't start under PDP. The poverty has been accumulative from the beginning of independence. Now, if you can recall, by 1900, when Nigeria was conquered and established as a colony, the gap between, and especially in the whole of Africa, the gap between Africa and the Western Europe in terms of wealth was 1 to 4.